1945. The year Europe is in ruins. Cities are burned, borders are shattered, and millions of lives have been lost. The Third Reich ceases to exist. But with it, another thing also disappears. Thousands of tons of gold, treasures looted across the entire continent. Paintings, jewelry, and even human lives turned into metal. Where did it all go? Do the Nazi treasures exist today? Or is this just one of the greatest legends of the 20th century? Today, we will find out. To understand where the gold went, we need to understand how it was collected. Nazi Germany did not just fight a war. It systematically looted Europe with precision and planning. Under its control fell state reserves, banks, museums, and private collections. Entire national economies were stripped of their wealth. After occupation, gold was exported from Poland, France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. Trains loaded with valuables crossed borders under military guard. But the most terrifying part was the confiscation from civilians, especially from Jews. Families were forced to hand over everything they owned, jewelry, valuables, even teeth. Everything was turned into gold. This was not just theft. It was industrial-scale robbery tied to genocide. The center of this system was the Reichsbank. This is where gold bars, coins, and melted valuables were brought and stored. Everything was catalogued, processed, and often melted down to hide its origin. By the end of the war, Germany had accumulated vast reserves, but in 1944-45, everything changed. The Reich began to lose. Allied forces were closing in from all sides, and panic began. When defeat became inevitable, the Nazis started hiding the gold. It was transported, scattered, and hidden across different regions. The main directions were the Alps, Austria, and southern Germany. Convoys moved at night, records were destroyed, orders were vague and chaotic. Gold was also moved through banks of neutral countries, especially Switzerland. There it could be exchanged or absorbed into the global financial system. This made it almost impossible to trace. It was chaos, no overall plan, just an attempt to save the looted wealth before everything collapsed. In April 1945, American forces discovered one of the largest hiding places, the salt mine Merkers. Hidden deep underground, behind sealed doors, they found a massive cache. Inside were over 100 tons of gold, stacks of currency, and priceless artworks. It was a sensation. Photographs of soldiers standing next to mountains of gold spread around the world. But it soon became clear that this was only a part of the total wealth. A large portion of the treasures was never found. And this is where the mystery truly begins. There are several main versions of what happened. One of them is the legend of the Alpine fortress, secret tunnels, caves, and underground warehouses hidden deep in the mountains. According to some stories, entire convoys disappeared into these regions and were never seen again. However, despite decades of searching, there is no solid evidence of massive hidden stockpiles. Another possibility is financial disappearance. Some of the gold may have been laundered through banks. It was exchanged, sold, and integrated into the global economy. Once melted and redistributed, it lost its identity forever. In this scenario, the treasure was not hidden. It simply vanished into circulation. And then there is another version, the most mysterious one. At the end of the war, Germany still had a powerful fleet of submarines, U-boats. These vessels could leave Europe unnoticed, transport cargo across oceans, and disappear without a trace. After the war, Nazi criminals appeared in Argentina, including Adolf Eichmann and Josef Mengele. It is also known that submarines U-530 and U-977 surrendered there long after Germany's capitulation. This led to a theory that, along with people, they may have carried gold and other valuables. Some researchers believe that small amounts of treasure could have been transported this way. Others argue that such operations would have been extremely difficult under wartime conditions. There is no confirmed evidence of large-scale transfers, but the mystery remains. An even more mysterious story is New Swabia, a remote region of Antarctica explored by Germany before the war. Some believe that the Nazis could have built a secret base there and transported treasures to it. The idea has inspired books, documentaries, and conspiracy theories, but it is important to note there is no credible evidence that such a base ever existed. So what do we actually know? Facts. Submarines did reach South America, and Nazis did escape. But there is no evidence of mass gold transport, and Antarctic stories are almost entirely myths. Despite this, searches continue to this day. Treasure hunters, historians, and adventurers are still trying to solve the mystery. One of the most famous legends is the Gold Train from Poland, a train allegedly filled with gold and hidden in a tunnel as Soviet forces approached. Numerous expeditions have tried to find it, but so far nothing definitive has been discovered. Another case is Lake Toplitz in Austria. Divers have found boxes and counterfeit money at the bottom of the lake. Some believe more lies hidden in its depths, but gold remains unconfirmed. Across Europe, there are hundreds of suspected locations, caves, bunkers, abandoned mines. Each year, new expeditions are launched, and almost every time they end the same way, with nothing. Modern historians are more cautious in their conclusions. The reality is this: some gold was found by the Allies, some was returned to the countries it was taken from, and some was lost forever. And most of the dramatic stories are likely exaggerated over time. Maybe somewhere in the mountains, hidden behind rock and time, treasures still lie undiscovered. Maybe they were melted long ago and dissolved into the global economy, impossible to trace. Or maybe the truth is much simpler than we want to believe. But this story is not just about gold. It is about war, about crimes, and about attempts to hide their traces. Behind every bar of gold is a story, often a tragic one. If you found this interesting, subscribe to the channel. Write in the comments, do you believe in Nazi treasure, or is it just a legend?